welcome. So it's 11:48 p.m. I'm trying to make it to Tuesday because we're trying to do True Crime Tuesday. I don't know if I'm gonna get in time, so I've already redone this video 3 times, so I'm gonna try not to fuck up. I smoked a little before this, so take it easy. I have hella notes. I'm terrible with dates. I don't want to forget anything for you guys. So, let's get into it. I really am surprised I didn't know the story, especially since some of the events took place 2020. 2020? Yeah, 2020. Yeah, so it's crazy. So, yeah. So it's about Lonnie Franklin, known as the Grim Sleeper. He was born August 30th, 1952 in South LA. I'm not going to talk too much about who he was growing up or anything about that because I think he's irrelevant and I don't think he fucking matters. So it doesn't matter. In 1974, he enrolled in the U.S. Army. And then April 17th, 1974, the same year, him and two other men, I don't even call them men actually, him and two other animals picked up a 17-year-old girl at a train station. They kidnapped her and they raped her. So later he was discharged, of course. He was sentenced 40 months, but he only served less than a year. I just don't understand the system. Later, so he worked as a sanitation worker. So he obviously had access to like alleyways, to landfills, like shit like that. And obviously he probably thought of this shit in his sick ass mind ahead of time when he wanted to target young black women. So that's what his MO was: young black women who were typically on drugs and were sex workers. So his first victim was Deborah Jackson, and a lot of these names I feel like I'm gonna pronounce wrong. Obviously this one was easy for me. So if I do, I apologize. I am gonna put their names up here somewhere. So yeah, first person, her name was Deborah Jackson. She was 29 years old, super young, just fucking 4 years older than me. So this was August 10th, 1985, and she was shot 3 times in her chest with a point 25. What was it? Yeah, with the shotgun. Not a shotgun, a handgun. That's a total difference. And she was left in an alleyway, just like fucking trash. Like, that's how much he thought of human life. He literally, I guess worse. So, okay. So in 1986, so that was 1985, next year. So next year, he actually gets married. So he's like living this double fucking life to this lady named Sylvia. They have 2 kids eventually together. In 86, a 35-year-old woman, Henrietta Wright, I don't think I'm saying that right, was found under a mattress. The following year, 23-year-old Barbara Ward, 26-year-old Bernita Sparks, and Mary Lou were discovered. And Bernita Sparks was found in a trash bin. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, literally discard, like, these women's bodies. Like, not, like, it's just insane. Okay, what the fuck? I already know what the story's about, and it's like, I'm still baffled. But, okay, I'm definitely not gonna make it to 12. It's okay, so whatever. In 1988, 22-year-old Lucretia, oh my god, Miss Jefferson, and 18-year-old Alicia Alexander were found. I said that name terrible. That doesn't matter. It's not the main thing right now. So all 7 of those girls were all shot with, yeah, a 25, I was right, a 25 caliber handgun. So all shot with the same gun. Coincidence, like the police didn't put two and two together. Like I'm sure the police did have an idea that something was fucking going on, a serial killer, but they kept quiet. Why the fuck did they keep quiet? Probably because they were black women, maybe. Probably because they were sex workers. Um, it's just fucked up shit. Really fucked up, because if they could have warned people and put it out to the public, like obviously these like women out there would have been more, you know, alert and would try to stay like it's extra, you know, safe and more careful, but that was not the case. So in November 1988, 30-year-old Anitra Washington, she was walking to her friends, and then an orange Ford pulled up to her, and it was the, you know who, can you guess? Sorry, I'm a little high. So yeah, he was pointing up to her. He was asking her if she wanted a ride. She was just like, you know, fuck off, basically. And she obviously didn't say that, but yeah, she was just like, no, I'm good. And then he said, what did he tell her? What's wrong with you, black women? People can't be nice to you. And so this made her feel like, damn, like, she was just like, okay, he's trying to give me a ride. Like, I should just let him be nice. Like, she got in the car with him. And, like, almost immediately when she got to the car, like, he already put a gun to her and shot her in the chest. And then she asked him, like, why did he shoot her? He said that she disrespected him. That was his reasoning. Yeah, so he savagely, he raped her. I hate saying that. I wish I didn't write that word in there. It just sounds just so brutal. Just the word itself is already enough. He took photos of her, and then he pushed her out the car and like left her for dead, basically. And luckily she survived, and she was able to give the police a sketch of him, but this they weren't able to do anything about it. They weren't able to catch him. Not till another 14 years later. Okay, so in March 2002, 15-year-old Princess I cannot say that. I'm sure it's easier than it is. Body was found. She was strangled and she was beaten badly. July 2003, 35-year-old Ballet McCorvey. She was killed in the same manner. Both were dumped in alleyways like they were nothing. And this all happened in South Central LA. The 11th victim, 2007. This was a mother. She was 25-year-old Janicia Peters. She was found stuffed in a garbage bag in an alleyway. And this time, she was shot. Actually, I don't know where she was shot this time. But it was with the same gun, the 20.25 caliber. So this time, you know, the police were like, okay, we're gonna get on this. So now, DNA samples were collected. You know, they linked it to previous bodies, the DNA. And in 2007, Bill Bratton, LA's police commissioner, finally set up a task force. Finally set up a fucking task force after this. Like, it took that long. Okay. And the case, he received a bunch of backlash. I mean, obviously, like, why did it take him this long? Journalist Christine Pelez, I don't fucking know. Put her name right here. Christine is gonna call him out on it. She said that Bratton and other officials were not interested because they occurred in poor areas and that they were all black women. I mean, she isn't wrong. Evidence was finally forming you know, they have the gun, from like the gun to the sketch to DNA now. DNA was finally significantly advanced, so now they could do shit. So yeah, when they entered the DNA in the database, is it data? There was a match with Christopher Franklin, so Christopher Franklin is his son. Okay, so what they did is, so his son was in the database because he had charges for weapons and drug charges. Yes. So basically, the LAPD decided to follow Lonnie downtown. He was at a restaurant. One of the officers posed as a busboy, and then they collected his napkins, cups, some pizza he was eating, and sure enough, the DNA matched. They later went to his home, raided it. They found hundreds. I don't know if it was thousands. I feel like I saw that it was thousands of photos. I don't remember. It was a lot. They found so many photos of women's, a woman in his house. They were somewhere nude, beaten. Some women were even like unconscious, and it looked like they were even dead. It was really sickening. So there was also, he was also suspected of killing 36-year-old Thomas Steele, one of the victim's friends, but there wasn't enough evidence for that, for him to be charged. So with all those photos piled up, the police were starting to think maybe this 14-year, you know, gap that he had, maybe he wasn't actually sleeping, you know, like, that's a whole lot of fucking photos. Personally, I don't think he was. Like, how do you have that many photos and then 10 you only find 10 bodies? Like, there's no fucking way. I don't know, it's sickening. So the police actually released the photos in hopes that they didn't release all the photos. They released decent amount to see if anybody would identify them, and I don't think anybody identified them that I read. In February 2016, like, it's a long time, Lonnie Charles begins, and then in May 5th, he was guilty for 10 murders and attempted murder, and he was sentenced to death. The woman who survived, Miss Washington, she was able to finally face him. Gosh, I really don't know how. Like, she's so fucking brave. Damn, like, that shit had to been hard. She was finally able to face him, and these were her words that she told him. This is the man that, like, literally left her to dead. Okay, she told him, "You're truly a piece of evil. You're a Satan representative. You're right up there with Manson." Like, basically just telling the motherfucker that he's evil. I mean, I don't even know what I would tell him. I really don't even know. So, yeah. In 2019, Governor Gavin Newsom, he actually announced that he was halting all executions of California, and there was like 700 plus people on death row, and he said he was doing that for as long as he was governor. But luckily, Lonnie died in March 28th of last year, so that's that, thank God. They found him. He was in the San Quentin prison in California, and yeah, they found him in his prison cell. The police did, and he was unresponsive. There was no trauma. He was just like gone, unresponsive. He wasn't breathing no more. So yeah, life decided to take its course. So yeah, I just thought that was crazy that I didn't know about this story. You know what I mean? It's really sad to say that, like, yeah, like the reporter said that this was brushed under so much because of the skin color of these women and their occupation. But I guarantee you, those white women, like how much quicker. If their bodies were piling up and it was like, no, the police would have. I feel like the police definitely would have gotten on that shit. So yeah, that was the story of the Grim Sleeper. And every time I say his name, I literally feel like I'm like, is it Reaper or Sleeper? Yeah. Anyways, my heart goes out to all the families. Like I said, I really don't think that those were all his victims. And we'll never know to this day because he obviously can't say anything now, but I don't think he would have ever said anything. Yeah, really shitty. Be careful out there, guys. Be safe. Lock your doors. Be always aware. You never know. But yeah, other than that, hope you guys enjoy the stories. Come back again Tuesday. Yeah, this was fun. Well, the story wasn't fun, but I enjoy, like, obviously you guys are here too. We're all here for the same thing. I ain't gotta say it. But yeah, good night. I'll see you guys.